Hi there, PJ Skinner with you. If you've written a book, the next big question is, do you go trad or do you go indie? I'll break down the big differences between traditional and indie publishing and help you decide which path is right for you. What is traditional publishing? Well, traditional publishing is where the publisher agrees to publish your book for you. In the past, they would pay you quite a decent lump sum ahead of publication. And a lot of people made quite good money from this. Most of them were male in the past, but it's become a lot more even handed now. In order to get in front of the publisher, you need an agent because most publishers won't speak directly to authors. So, authors used to spend an awful lot of their time querying, that is, sending letters to agents asking them to represent them in front of the publisher. Now, this is a very long and drawn out process. You can be really lucky. If you've written a smashing book, you might only write one letter. I know people who've written hundreds and they still don't have an agent. This leads me to the main problem with trad, as far as I'm concerned. Well, one of the two main problems. It's the time it takes to get your book published. Let's say you find an agent in 6 months. That would be really pretty good and pretty fast. Well, the next thing you need to do is you need to find someone who'll publish your book. So the agent will go around the publishers hawking your book for you. If the publisher takes it, that might take another 6 months or a year or 2 years, but let's say it takes another 6 months, so that's a year. The publisher then says, splendid, we'll publish the book in 18 months' time, or maybe 2 years, depending on their conveyor belt of publishing. And so it will take you at least 3, maybe 4 years, maybe 5 or 6 to get your book published, even if you finished it already. On the other hand, I finished a book the other day, and having polished it and done the proofing, I pressed the publish button, and it's selling very well now. That's the difference. There's no time limit on when you put your book up. You just publish it. Some people wait, some people stack them up before they release them, some people only write one book in a lifetime, but it's your choice. The second issue is the difference between trad and indie is royalties. If you're a trad author, you're very likely to get 10% of your income paid to you. The rest goes to the traditional publisher. Then you have to pay 15% to your agent of the 10% that you get. If you publish indie, you get 70% of your income paid to you every 2 months. Trad pays you twice a year or even once, depending on the publisher. So obviously, 70% is a lot more than 10. And what are the cons of this? Well, there's no beating around the bush with this one. Indie publishing is very hard work. There's an awful lot of things that you have to learn how to do. Everything from uploading to getting a cover design to making sure your book's the right quality. All of that can cost money and does cost time, and it's up to you to get it right. If you are serious about publishing, the quality of the ebook you put out must be as good as anything that's trad, and that's a fact. Now, the other thing about trad, which I need to point out to people who are thinking of buying themselves an island when they publish their first book, is that trad really only works for people who are famous. All you have to do is look at the big push once a year at Christmas when trad goes ballistic with their advertising, shoving books at you by all famous people, mostly biographies and memoirs. But also, they have a lot of ghostwriters who write books for famous people who produce them as their own. Now, I don't know who these people are. But if you want to look at, say, a famous person that's had a lot of success recently, Richard Osman, I'm sure he writes his own books, but his books aren't better than any other cozy mystery author that I've met. He just has a massive backing. Why? Because he's famous, because he has a huge audience already set up. And that's fair enough. That's what trad publishing does. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're an indie author by yourself with no market, ready-made market, and you're going to start from zero, trad publishing may accept your book, but they'll have a small budget, maybe £20,000, to market it and put it in some shops. If it doesn't sell, they'll stop, and your book will die, and there's nothing you can do about it because they own all the rights. You've sold your soul. You just have to write another book and forget about that one. The difference with indie is you don't have to give up on indie. You can change the covers, you can download it and upload it with a slightly changed story. You can make it better. You can read your reviews and decide that you need to change something. It's a totally different thing. Every time someone points out something to me, I always think about it. So if I see in the review that there was a typo on page 63, I just fix it and re-upload, and then there isn't a typo. You can't do that in trad. So there's no proper choice. A lot of people like trad because they like the kudos. Oh, I'm published with Penguin, or I'm published with, I don't know, Hatcher or Virgo. But they're not making any money unless they're famous. It's very unlikely. I went indie because I love to get my books in front of people. I want readers. And I write very fast. Well, not very fast, but I write fast. I write 4 books a year at the moment. And I have people who are waiting for every book and who love them and who send me lovely comments. Trad will not let you publish 4 books a year. They're just not set up for that. So you'll have to publish 1 a year, maybe 2. I don't know if they'll do 2 for you. But it's not under your control. And that's really it. If you like to be in control, if you like to have your own timetable and design your own cover and decide on your own cover and decide if you want paperbacks and decide if you want an audiobook and choose the people that work with you, then you want to go indie. If you're quite happy to hand all that control over and you don't mind if you don't earn any money, it's just you want to see your book on a bookshelf, then trad's fine too. There are some small publishers which is sort of halfway in between. We won't talk about those today. But those are basically the choices. It really depends why you're publishing. Are you publishing just to get your book on a shelf? Or do you want to make money and get lots of readers? It's up to you, really. Anyway, that's my 2p on the matter. If you have comments or questions, I'd love if you put them underneath and I'll try and answer them. And if you want me to talk more about any aspects of this video, please let me know. Please like and subscribe to this channel. It's the only way I can get my videos out to other people. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.